Back in 2025, I made a video regarding my wedding gear list for 2025. I felt like it was a very successful video, especially for like a lot of you guys that are trying to get into wedding videos. I felt like I was able to bring you guys a lot of value with that one. However, not a lot, but some of you guys were in the comments saying, well, what about video lights? And that's a fair point. I didn't include video lights because, I was kind of ashamed, kind of ashamed about my wedding video lights. And it's not like I had bad ones. It was just when you buy a piece of gear, you want to be able to use it in almost a lot of occasions or every scenario. So you want it to be versatile, correct? And that's what I think kind of helped me from putting in my wedding video lights, is because we're in 2025 and I bought these lights back in like 2020. So let me just show you guys what I have so I can stop rambling, okay? One moment. At the start of my wedding video career, I only had wedding light panels, those newer ones, the 660 LED light ones. Those are the ones that I started with. Then I upgraded to a professional light, like a starter light. And that was the Godox VL150. This is a killer light, especially for beginners. It's no slouch whatsoever. And I also had a small rig 220B light, because I went from that light to this light. Now, the reason I went with this one was because I was able to go use it through an app, through the small rig app, and I was able to change lights. It's a bicolor one, so you can go from daylight to tungsten light instantaneously. Sure, we got our knobs in the back, but again, it's the ease of use with the app. Okay, that means I don't have to walk across a room to get the lighting that I want and how bright and how not so bright I want the light to be. These two, instead of the newer 660 LED lights, I ended up using these two lights right here. I ended up using those lights with, just some not so heavy tripods. Let me give me 1 second. Some small rig tripods. And I would carry everything in a cart. So instead of carrying both of these lights in separate cases, I ended up putting both of them in one case, the Godox case, because they fit. Was it easy? Was it convenient? Yeah, it really was, but it was heavy. It got pretty heavy pretty fast, especially when you had like back-to-back wedding days or wedding weekends. Yeah, it got pretty heavy. And then having to, juggle them from one end of the venue to the other end of the venue, along with the tripods, along with the cart, along with your backpack for the day, it got pretty messy pretty quick. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm no slouch, I'm not lazy, and I can move pretty damn quick on a wedding day, especially as a solo shooter. And that's how I've made my career pretty much up until this day. And I'm still going at it. But these lights also were not no slouch. They held me through, they lit up not ceremonies, but receptions really well. And for toast, they came in very clutch so many times. I was able to get a lot of light at a far enough distance than the newer 660 LED lights that I had. And no hate on them, because we all start somewhere. So if you have them, I'm not clowning on you. I know where you've been, I know where you are, and I know where you're going if you continue to keep doing this. Back in 2024, one of my homies during Black Friday, he put me on some lights, and he was just like, hey, I know that you have some back problems. You're always talking to me about them, and I know that you could probably travel a little bit lighter than what you kind of are, even though you only carry one case. And I agreed. I stay open-minded, and I was like, yeah, what you got? That's when he introduced me to the Amaran 60XS cob lights. Let me tell you, the difference that these lights made in weight, in case, in light output, in travel. Why didn't I do it back in 2024? I have no idea. This could have saved me so much problems and a lot of backache too, I guess you could say. Now, the Amaran 60XS are bicolor lights, which is already a plus, okay? And I think the one thing that really sold me on these were that they already were an Amaran brand, which I had Amaran tube lights, one lighting right over there. And Amaran already has an app called the Sirius Link app. It allows you to simultaneously control the lights via an app rather than, once you have them set up somewhere, you can turn down the intensity, the brightness, the color. And my tube lights, they're RGB as well as bicolor. And these Amaran 60S, they're already bicolor as it is. So that means all I had to do was set them up on the app and I was ready to go. Don't believe me? My main light that's over here on my right side that I usually film with is one of the 60XS lights. Let me show you. We simply go to the app right here. Then you set it up via Bluetooth. You click on the one that you want, which is my key light. And then you can modify the intensity of the light. And again, I told you they're bicolor, so I can go from 3200, I'm gonna brighten this up all the way, up to 5600. And another thing that I really liked about these lights is that they come, let me show you what all comes in these packages. You get a reflector, it's really tiny, and it's Bowens mount capable right out the gate. So if you don't want your light spilling pretty much everywhere, you can control it just a tiny bit. There, it's got a little lock mechanism right here for you. It's got one of these clamps right here to where you can put on your tripod and then move it up and down if you'd like, with a 1/4-inch thread right there. And the 1/4-inch thread belongs right here. Let me get you a tripod real quick. Tighten it over here and here, and there you are. You're set. This just allows you to go up and down. This just allows you to loosen this up or not. Again, you're set. And then you can just unscrew this if you like. And you can utilize the little clamp for something else. It's also got its own power adapter. And here's the cool part. Well, sort of cool part. Again, it's got its own power adapter. Let me get to one point that I forgot to mention earlier. When I told you that I was ashamed of the lights that I was using, it's because I had to lug in a power adapter and find an outlet in order to power these lights on. I had to shoot across the venue, turn on that light, shoot across the other side, turn on that light. And when you've been walking around 6+ hours already, and sometimes in the heat, you start to start feeling a little defeated after a while, okay? Maybe that's just me, maybe it's just the heat talking, but I bring up that point to bring up this point. If you look right here, there's a V-mount plate right there that you can put. If you have a V-mount battery, you guessed it, you can just slide this guy right in there and use a D-tap plug-in right over here on this side. Right in there. Push this in and voila. There we go. And if you are worried about them being loud, the fan isn't loud. I mean, I can hear it right here because it's obviously close to my ear, but at a distance, if you're worried about wedding guests hearing it, nah, you won't have to worry about any of that. And this is at 77%. This over here on this side, there is a light or a little knob that allows you to turn down your light. There we go. And this is why I use the app. It's a lot faster than having to turn the knob all the way around. But that's just one way to do this. Let's just say you don't have a V-mount battery. This is what comes inside your packet here. And this allows you to utilize Sony MPF batteries if you have any laying around. You plug in the V-mount plate, plug in your battery. Let me get the other one. Turn it on. Oh, my bad. Turn it on. I didn't plug one of the batteries in correctly. So yeah, now light output. You're like thinking, okay, how long is this gonna last? Well, for me, I don't use the light output at 100%, especially in a dark lit wedding reception area. I've tested it at multiple weddings. You can actually get away with leaving your light output about 60%, if maybe 50%, and 40% like on the lowest, and it reaches a good distance. So if you wanted to hide them somewhere on like next to a pillar or something, so where wedding guests will not trip over them and cost you a light, that would be plenty doable. Do I bring both of these cases with me? Hell yeah. This is way lighter than that. So hell yeah, I'll bring both of them. Besides, it gives me peace of mind. Sometimes it might start to sprinkle, wind, dust, everything, right? That I know for a fact that those lights are protected from the elements based on the case that it comes with. For those of you guys wondering, light output, it's a CRI 96 Plus on these bad boys, so it's really bright for what it is. My favorite thing about them is that I can control them using the Cydius link app, because once I set them up, I do two-point lighting. So that means that I'm intersecting them like this, especially during like a first dance. That's honestly the best way to light something when you only have 2 lights and you're a solo videographer. It like never fails. Some of you guys might be out there trying to correct me or cringing at this that I'm saying that, but honestly for me, it's worth 99% of the time. The fact that I can turn them off and turn them on while being up close to the bride and the groom, what more can I ask for? I mean, and then like if like Aunt Marjorie's out there saying, hey, the light's too bright, oh my God. Shut up, Aunt Marjorie. Let me just turn it down real quick. You can stop complaining, okay? Or you can just go sit somewhere else. That's just my take. Do I feel like you could use a light like this? I mean, that's up to you, really. If you don't want to be ashamed like I was doing to myself with the 2 lights that I was using, I think it'd be a good case scenario for you as well, no pun intended. Yes, I'm not gonna hate on my lights that I used to use before because they got me through so many weddings so far in my career. But utilizing the 60XS Amaran lights, little cob lights, and they're so powerful for what they are, it saves my back a lot more. And like I've told you before, I have back issues, so not having to carry a heavy ass wagon along with the crap load of tripods, right, for like A and B or B and C cams, and then 2 more rugged tripods for lighting a reception area for toast. Yeah, I'm hauling those bad boys around, and they're easy to set up. When you show up to a wedding day, set them up real quick, you know, the thread and everything, and you're good to go from that point on. All you gotta do is just make sure that they're turned on, battery's full, you're good to go. If you guys have any questions, any additional questions regarding the Amaran 60XS lights, please leave those questions down in the comments below and I'll be happy to answer any questions for you. And for you guys that asked me about why didn't I include that in my gear list, it's because I was, again, just a little bit ashamed about what I was doing before. But hey, we buy things to be more versatile with them. We don't want them just for one case use, especially as a solo creator, right? Or a solo videographer, wedding videographer. Whatever. You know what I'm getting at. One more thing before I let you guys go. If you guys could please like and subscribe to this channel, I would greatly appreciate it. Trying to close in on 500 before the summer of this year. If I can get to 1,000 before the end of the year, I'd really appreciate that. I guess I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.